If you're a tax strategist trying to market your firm, this might be the most important 10 minutes that you watch because markets are shifting, competitors are coming in at an all-time high, the claims are getting more braggadocious and bigger, and skepticism is creeping up faster than ever before. Now, with that being said, I've recently seen a shift in how firms are successfully marketing, and that's exactly what we're gonna cover in this video. And if you're making these 3 mistakes, then chances are that you're probably having your potential clients run farther and faster from you than Forrest Gump did in the movie. So with that being said, my name's Daniel Schulte with Wealthy Clients, and let's dive in. So about 18 months ago, I had transitioned into helping tax strategists get more clients on a regular basis. And up until that point, I had been working with restaurant owners. Well, the nice thing is that I had created a system that basically took a complete stranger into wanting to become a client and work with me. And the nice thing is that it was profitable. I would put $1 into this machine and predictably get $2, $5, $10 back out on a regular basis. I was looking for a different niche basically to work with for a couple of different reasons. There's a whole niche video right here. I'm sure my editors can put it in there on why I switched out of it. But basically, I had one day stumbled across Kevin O'Leary's ads for TaxHive. And so I went in, watched his videos, and I was like, this is a very interesting industry. And was familiar with accounting firms up until that point. I had read Tom Wheelwright's book, Tax-Free Wealth, but I didn't realize that it was such a sub-niche of accounting. And I looked at it and I was like, everybody pays taxes. Business owners pay a whole lot more taxes than other people. It's a net savings offer. And it basically ticked off a ton of the boxes in terms of my system and what was working for me. So I started working with some tax planners. And at the time, Kevin O'Leary was really like one of the only guys that was advertising a direct offer, which was basically, hey, we'll save you $10,000 in taxes. And if we can't, we'll refund your money or something along those lines. And so I was like, okay, cool. Well, coming into the market, all we have to do, if we know that that's working for sure, is make a bigger claim. And that's exactly what we did with our clients. One of my clients actually was kind of the originator, inventor, I guess you could say, for the modern time of, hey, we'll save you $50,000 in taxes, or we'll give you a 110% refund. And as time has gone on, you can see that there is more and more and more people using that exact same claim. So where before we were getting $100, $150 cost per booked calls, we're now seeing that exact same claim get somewhere between $250 and $300 cost per booked calls. And you can see that more and more people are advertising in the tax strategy space, and more people are making the exact same claim. And if it's not the exact same claim, then it's some variation of that claim and of that offer. So the market is starting to catch on now. They're seeing all the same messaging from all the same people. And so what was working 18 months ago is now not as efficient. So we started working with this new client. They're a cost segregation firm. Unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to say which one at the moment in time, but we started working with them on February 1st. Today is March 11th, and they did something completely different of all my other clients. Instead of coming in with a direct offer, what they did is they led with valuable information that positioned them as the expert. They didn't make anybody opt in. Literally, the ad was like, hey, here's the 5 mistakes that you need to know. And she spent about 3 minutes going through the 5 mistakes that were costing these people money if they did a cost seg. Now, what's crazy is I was like, okay, we'll test it out. We'll see if it works or not. And the call to action, right? Like the, hey, book a call. Of the 3 minutes, she probably only spent like 10 seconds actually going in and telling people to book a call. And what's crazy about this is that over the past 30 days, we've gotten 293 leads at like $15 a pop, and we've gotten about 100 booked calls. Now I'm gonna have my editor put the screenshot up so that you guys can see. And there was, in the beginning, unfortunately, they were using a different calendar software that didn't allow us to track the booked calls back to Facebook. So the amount of booked calls that we got is actually higher, but on average, we're getting a booked call, a qualified booked call someone with a commercial property, multifamily property, for about $54, which is insane. So again, we go from this direct offer that's kind of seen its run, if you will, and it's getting calls for $250 to $300. Again, everybody's catching on. Everybody's seeing the same thing. Skepticism is at an all-time high. And anytime that I talk with my clients, I always tell them there's 3 sales that they need to make, and there's really 2 ways that you can do that. So the first one is that you have to get them sold on your vehicle. In this case, the vehicle is cost segregation. A lot of my clients, they just do tax planning and tax strategy in general. So the vehicle that they need to get their prospects sold on is tax strategy. Your indirect competitors might be real estate. Your indirect competitors might be life insurance. So you have to show why this vehicle is the best compared to everything else out there. The second sale that you need to make is your unique methodology or process. Okay, once you convince them on tax planning, that's great, but there's hundreds, thousands of other tax planning firms out there. So what makes your process unique or different that they aren't going to be able to find anywhere else? And then lastly, the last sale that you have to make is you and your firm. Why would they want to do business with you? They might like your methodology, but they might not want to work with you specifically or your salesperson if they're the ones taking the calls. Now, with that being said, there's really 2 ways that you can show people, okay, and prove to them these 3 things. And the first one is by showcasing your expertise and providing value in advance. So as soon as I saw that this ad was working, I immediately took the concept and I went to a few other clients of mine. And I was like, hey, I think you need to make an educational video specifically sharing a strategy around how people can use a strategy and provide them value in advance. Because if you provide them value in advance, it goes into one of the psychological biases, which is reciprocity. The way that it works, and this is wired in basically all humans, this is why webinars work so well, master classes work so well, but when you give someone and you provide them value, psychologically, whether they realize it or not, they feel indebted to you. And so they want to know how they can help you. It's just in human nature. So by providing value up front, what you're able to do is A, showcase that you're the expert, but then B, also create that reciprocity principle in that person's brain. So they think, wow, A, this person's helping me. This is just his free stuff. I can only imagine what his paid stuff is. But the second thing that typically happens is that they want more of what you already gave them. Whereas if you just come in on, hey, we're going to save you $50,000 in taxes, don't get me wrong, that's a great offer and you can still make that offer. But what this does is this allows you to come in, provide value first without asking for anything in return, build that reciprocity gap, you could call it, and then make that call to action for them to take the next step. And if you already help them without asking for anything in return, don't you think that they're going to naturally be inclined to want more help from you? So we did this with another client. The client was, like I said, getting about $300, $400 cost per booked call, and his package is $18,000 for the year. So it's not that it wasn't profitable. But what he did is he took this exact same concept and he did it around captive insurance, basically sharing how business owners can create a captive insurance agency so that instead of paying a third party, they can start paying themselves and creating wealth, right? Just showcasing one of the tax strategies. And as soon as we launched the ads, I went to sleep, woke up the next day, and I texted him. I was like, I have a feeling the captive insurance is going to pop off. And again, still early on, but overnight, we literally had 2 people book calls from the captive insurance ad. And it was a 90-second ad just walking through a tax strategy on how this exactly can help them. And we're getting booked calls for $75 a pop now. So I'm taking this concept of, okay, cool, the market's shifting. The believability is at an all-time low. Skepticism is at an all-time high. Everybody's shouting the exact same offer, the exact same ads. How do we pivot? What's the shift that we need to make? And simply by doing this, we're able to get ahead of the market and we're able to showcase that value in advance, create that reciprocity in the prospect so that they naturally want to take the next step. And not only that, but the cost per booked calls are so much lower with high quality prospects than they were before. So if you're still making the braggadocious claims or you're wondering how you can actually get people in the door on a regular basis, I highly recommend using this strategy. And if you want help, be sure to click the button down below where me and my team can coach you exactly on how to do what's working right now. That way you can skip the learning curve and go straight to making your ads profitable from the get-go. So with that being said, Daniel here with Wealthy Clients, and I'll catch you on the next one.